What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by my friend Antilev, as always. So thank you, Antilev. Appreciate you joining me, man.
Happy to be here once again.
So this is not just your ordinary episode of the rundown. No, this is a slightly delayed, but even better. I think it's actually given me a lot more time to digest what is now level 8 and all the implications. How do we plan ahead? What kind of decisions do we do with our tickets right now? How do we prepare for next tour? We'll get into all of that. So we'll probably breeze through. We're gonna hopefully keep this content around the average length, which is roughly about an hour and a half or so. But we'll probably breeze through certain sections that we may not feel needs as much emphasis, but we'll kind of be playing that by ear. I definitely don't want to skip through this. These are our stud members. These are our member communities. We'll be wrapping up. I'm recording this on Monday afternoon. Hopefully, this is just a few hours before the premiere. We actually have a Monday multiplayer finale tonight taking place right before this video. So I don't know who the winner is, but we'll know by the time this video is. I'll send it out in the text there in the comments. So check that out. We have a pretty close battle. NKD, Ben, and Groovy's in there. Heroes in the mix. John Boy's always there too. So we'll see how it all turns out, but it will be fun to see. So many great members, the super studs. Huge thanks to these guys and gals. These guys lead the way. Juan Linjao, Angelita, Jeeves, Night Rosso, Larry 98, This Be Chris, Princess Lady Rain, Nat, Frenzy fans. I could not do it for these guys. And then we've had a growing number of studs. So thankful. We've actually had a couple guys and gals join here recently. Shadow Legend 3000 joined from Australia. Joseph Guelli, I hadn't announced him last time, but I think he joined right before the last rundown. And then the Not Duds growing substantially too. So just huge shout out to you guys. I think the community's passion or motivation has been kind of waning. But every time I see this list, I get excited and I want to keep this content going because of these people. So thanks to all the subscribers too. But these members are really the heart blood of what keeps this, at least this content pumping. So thankful to all these people there. All right, Antilev, we got a lot to talk about. So I think it's even hard to really fully discuss anything else before talking about level 7. I'm sorry, level 8 now. Still kind of licking our wounds from level 7 last year. There's a lot that we're going to cover. And I thought about how I wanted to discuss it because there's so many implications. But we're just here, we're just chatting. And so I feel like we'll kind of have an open discussion here. But there'll be thoughts in how this buying this pack or pulling this pipe might impact next tour and level 8. So we'll probably add some tidbits here and there. But Antilev, right off the bat, we have level 8. The announcement is there. What was your first thoughts? And now that we're, I guess, 5 or 6 days later, how have you processed it over that time?
So, my first thought, what I think is like 99% of the community, was a disappointment. Like we all understand that Nintendo has a business model. They need to make money. Part of the way these sort of freemium and or gacha games work is that they try to attract whale spenders. That is the bulk of their income, and they need to keep the games interesting for those spenders. And for the heavy pay to win players, they were getting close to having everything relevant pretty much maxed out level 7. You see that around some of the people I know who are very heavy spenders. You see a lot of people with advanced accounts have kind of investments all in the same items. The meta is kind of crystallized. So it's a disappointment because it's difficult for everybody who's not in that sort of tier of involvement with the game from a monetary perspective. But I'm kind of the type of person who just is like, I'll just take whatever the game throws at me, and I'll roll with it and I'll adapt. I got 2 accounts. I got my regular main, which is moderately pay to win, and I got my free to play account. So with my main, it's gonna be kind of sucky going back to not having a maxed out daily select shop. I don't have hundreds of tickets that I can just immediately bring everything to level 8 immediately. But like other people said, maybe it'll make pipe building a little bit more interesting. That dupes are a little bit more fun again. And for my free to play account, I don't even have anything. Like I think I have like Baby Luigi level 7 and nothing else level 7. So that makes absolutely zero difference to me. I'll still enjoy my free to play like a lot. I think what hurts the most are people who are like day one gold pass only, who really struggle to get a maxed out shop. I mean, I know when level 7 hit, it was like 3 weeks after I finally got all of my shop items to level 6, and I was absolutely devastated. I was just so crushing to have stretched and worked that hard to max out the shop, and then all of a sudden, no.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a little bit less unexpected, so I'm just rolling with it, But there are some interesting opportunities here as well. We're gonna get another track unlock with level 8, so that will shake up the meta a lot. And there's gonna be some other content that's coming along with the update as well. We don't know all what it is, but it should be pretty interesting. What about you?
Yeah, man. Oh, man. There's so many things to talk about. I think just right now, even in the news, right, we hear there's a war going on, with Russia and Ukraine. And initially, when I hear the news, I'm like, that's not good. Like that's terrible. And then I naturally think like, how does this impact me? And then once that blows over, because that's pretty quick. I'm here in the United States. It doesn't impact me that much. My thought goes out to like, how are the Ukrainians, like, how are they dealing with this? And then, how are the people in Russia dealing with that? And then it kind of expands like, hey, Antelev, you're over there, in the Amsterdam area, you're probably much more impacted. You're probably thinking about things. So like my empathy level goes from like a small circle to a bigger circle to like, now how is this impacting us as a civilization on this earth? And so, in a much, 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 much less severe way, I think about, level 8. And I think about like, initially I'm thinking, wow, this is not good news for me, because I think, and I think Carlos did a good job of describing this. When we play this game, we're playing, at least he's playing this game to max everything out. And like, there are a lot of games out there where that is the strategy. It's just a matter of, when you get there, and you think about for Pokemon, you're trying to, complete the Pokédex. And, there's no completing the Pokédex in Mario Kart Tour. Like, there are so many items, and every tour they're releasing 4 or 5 items at a time. And so to think about every single item times 14 tickets, it's impossible. You cannot have a complete account. And then I'm sure Carlos is probably teetering up there with the 80%. But I think just once it's expanded, like it now goes to the point where everyone is now having to think about things differently. And from that perspective, it sucked. I hated hearing the news. And then I thought about like, who is this impacting the most, and empathizing with those people. And for me, over the last 5 days, I've heard, me as one of the leaders of ER. We've had some members leave, and not leave ER, but leave the game, because these are players that were spending so much, and it took the level of energy, the level of money, the level of commitment to stay in the top of 100 in ACR, or just to stay at the top of this game. Took so much that I think really those were some of the first to drop, some of the first to like really feel the pressure and almost see this as their way out. And so honestly, I think that those larger sized dolphins that probably, couldn't necessarily, afford or sustain that type of level of engagement with the game, probably were the most impacted, because they just realized, all right, hey, my run, it was great, but this is not sustainable. Now, I think who impacts that next would be, the dolphins underneath those. This Gold Pass plus, maybe get 1 or 2 packs every tour. They were starting to get maybe 1 or 2 items at level 7, and now triple uncapping, and then it kind of goes out from there. I think everyone thinks about whales as being like these massive accounts, and everyone's equal, everyone's massive. Well, I think in this game, everyone kind of can actually get relatively close to that over time. Meaning that 6 months ago, the number of people going in with a 7 1400, 7 700, 7 700 loadout was near impossible. Even an all cup ranking, like that's just very, very difficult to do. Whereas now, just about everybody has that on at least 2 or 3 tracks that's in the top 100. And so, from that perspective, you're right. I mean, almost everyone's loadouts were starting to look the same, and I'm sure Nintendo was starting to kind of peel their eyes on that. I think the other aspect of it is, going through this kind of onion of who's it impacting more and more. I would say like the super whales, the people like Carlos, people like yourself, even myself. I'm probably going to be spending just probably similar to what you have here. But I was spending much, much more, and I'm trying to compete with Carlos, and that's never something I would recommend someone doing. But
I'm definitely not doing that.
No, right? Like for me, I kind of am a little bit excited now about how I can invest, and I think that part will make this channel hopefully more encouraging for people. It's like, hey, it's not just how many things can I get to maxed out. Now I have to be a little bit more strategic. So one of my thoughts were, and how I see it impacting the game, is when level 7 came out and we were all released. We were kind of going through this same thing a year ago. I had just double uncapped my Dragon Wings, and I had it at 595. So I guess double uncapped it. And you know what? It's still 595 because when level 7 came out, I just had other needs. I had other tracks I was trying to fill out. So it kind of got left behind. And I wonder, I'm thinking back, like right now, with my inventory, which items are going to be left behind. So like right now I have a head honcho, level 7, 595. There's no way that's ever going to 8 anytime soon. Because I took it to level 7 to help me out with a few tracks. But now, like, my priorities are much different. And I think from that perspective, there's going to be a hierarchy of what things I might take to 8 or take to a certain level, and there'll be some items left behind. The one thing I want to encourage everyone, no matter what, is take this time. I think like in many of us who are in business, we'll go on like an internal like retreat, like we with our coworkers, or sometimes if you're in a church group, they'll go on like a retreat with the guys. Like this is a great time to do your own like mental retreat. Understand, ask yourself, what do I enjoy about this game? Is it the pipe pulling? Is it the investments? Is it all cup ranking? Is it ranked? I think back to Jeeves did one of these a couple weeks ago where he just kind of took a step back, internalized what he enjoyed about the game, and then was able to step back in. I would recommend over the next 8 or 9 days, just kind of do that. Just take a time to realize what you enjoy about the game, and don't compare yourself to anybody else. Everyone can enjoy this game differently. I would highly recommend just thinking how you enjoy this game. What brings you the most joy in this game? And then play to be able to budget yourself throughout the year. Budget yourself not just financially, budget yourself also in energy. You will get burnt out in this game if you do plan on or would be interested in continuing. I think a lot of people that said that they would quit day one, I think they'll continue. But I would recommend not just jumping right back in the way you've been playing before, but take this time, internalize it, think about what you enjoy about this game, don't care about anybody else, and then be able to play accordingly. And so if that's setting time blocks for yourself and budgeting yourself from time, energy, emotion, how do you want to play this game, and then go out next tour and live it out. For me, one of the things I said with level 7 was let you take something to 6 and let the game take it to 7. I think that also, we have no idea how many tickets it's going to take something from 7 to 8. It could take 5 tickets, could take 7, could take 8, could take 10. We don't know. But I think if you're thinking about things in that mentality, is let me just take things to 7, and then I'll enjoy pulling on pipes more. I'll enjoy getting a pack and just letting the game take it to 8. I don't need to throw 8 tickets on it right away. I think there's a good strategy, and I think maybe this is a good time to talk about the daily selects. There is some strategy to that on how you want to approach it so that you can unlock your high ends. And Sammy D has a great video that kind of talks about daily selects. So all those will still apply. But you will have to get one high end to level 8. So I think there might be, I think for some people, like myself, it'll probably be the Gold Glider. Other people might be the Cloud Glider. Some people might take Pauline. I personally would recommend maybe a glider, potentially a cart. But the drivers, man, if there's so many drivers that I got. I remember last year saw so many people take PGP or take these drivers right to 8. And I'm like, guys, I'm not doing that. I'm going to get these drivers all year round. I'm not going to put any tickets into those. And I think I know specifically described what is a minimal waste strategy, which I highly recommend too, which is don't put tickets on anything to take it to 8. Maybe 1 if you need to take it, like if it's, I guess what, let's just pretend it's set at 8. If you got 7 out of 8 and you just need 1 more to take it to level 8, then feel free. But like, don't put tickets on anything just because you're going to regret it in September or October or something else when you pull it. But Antelope, as we're going through this week and think about things, between now and 9 days from now when we get actually level 8 released, how should someone approach the daily selects? Should they buy normal tickets? Should they buy super tickets? What's worth more at this point, coins or rubies?
That really depends on what your coin stash looks like, which is generally related to how much you pull pipes and how much you spend in the game. But I mean, basically, if you have a lot of coins and a lot of tickets, you can afford to do more things. My strategy on my main account, I'm buying now super glider tickets and normal glider tickets. I will, instead of going for the premium commons, I'm gonna go try to max out the entire category of normal gliders, regular ones, because they appear. There's only 6 of them, and they appear much more than 6 times more than the single premium common glider. So I'm going to try to get there first because I think it would be a more efficient strategy. And then the super gliders, there's only 4 of them, and they show up like pretty often as well. So I want to make sure I have enough to get those maxed out right away. Beyond that, it's just a kind of like, I'm going to hoard my tickets. I'm going to not level up items one by one, but I'm going to keep a count of how many tickets I need total to max out a given category. And when that deficit matches up with the number of tickets I have in my stash, then I'll spend them all at once to get them all maxed out at the same time. That way I don't have a situation where I max out like 1 or 2 items, I pull a pipe, I get a dupe of that item that's already maxed out, and I only get half the coins back. That will be my that's how I'm approaching it, and you just basically decide which categories make sense for you. Like my free to play, if it was a little bit more advanced, I would go for the premium normals just to get a category maxed out, but because I have a few more tickets than that, I think I have around 75 normal glider tickets, so I'm not going to get there like immediately, but I mean, yeah, maybe within like a month or 2, we'll see.
Yeah, I will say, in case you missed on my reaction, I was wrong about level 8. So I'll first go ahead and admit that I was wrong. And I think my point though still holds true, which was I think a lot of people when they heard the hashtag fix DS movement, there was a lot of people saying, well, yeah, sure, they'll fix daily selects, but then they'll give us level 8, or that like level 8 and the daily selects were like contingent on one another or something like that, and I don't think that's the case. Does the daily selects and the impact it have on us right now matter the most or more than level 8? Probably not. But I think
if you put those 2 things together, it makes it pretty clear that it's the correct choice, as you say, to go for a high-end shop glider, since gliders used to be the lowest appearing ticket, but now they appear with the same rate as everyone else, and they're actually the least valuable type of high-end ticket at the current rates.
Yeah, so I'll tell you one thing around daily selects and that change. If you look at the actual tickets, I know we kept talking about it going from 10% to 6%, which is true. But what skewed that was that the high-end driver ticket went from 5% to matching the glider at 2%. So,
exactly.
that's a 60% drop in just the driver ticket. So you're realizing, okay, so Nintendo's gripe was not necessarily with all daily selects. It was really with the driver. And so, from our perspective, reading the tea leaves, like, why is that important? Well, I was thinking about that a lot this past week, and I think what Nintendo realized is, and probably what caused them to impact the daily selects and kind of make those changes, was because when we had amazing pipes, we're talking about amazing pipes where we had Kamek and we had like all these coin box drivers, and no one was pulling. And the main reason is because really us as players, we really only have to care about 40% of the drivers out there because of those top
Not
skills.
Even, not even. Yeah, I would say 20%.
Okay. So
Yeah.
20% of the drivers we have to take up to to max, whatever. So what do?
Yeah.
The day it comes out, we take it to level 7 immediately because we're sitting on the stash and we're like, we want these best players. So I think Nintendo realized, hey, no one's pulling on these special pipes. They should be pulling on these special pipes. So what we'll do, we'll give them, someone like Luigi Classic or something else, and no one pulls on those either because they're like, well, I guess he's a bad example, but that maybe they'll give us like Mario Racing, right? We don't need him. Like, he's not a part of our meta part of strategy. So what do? Not pull. So we don't pull here, we don't pull there. So what's the solution? Take away high-end driver tickets. So I think that's Nintendo's reasoning behind it. Now, I think it was kind of terrible timing because it seems like we got like a 1-2 punch in the face. First, daily selects and just finding out that they were already doing this. And then two level.
Well, we don't know when they made the daily shop nerf. It might have been a couple of months ago, and we just found out about it. So that's also, that's on us, and we were not actually meant to know as well.
Here's what I love about the fixed daily selects and why I'm so proud of the community for doing this, because I think that our point to Nintendo came across to them, which is that we want high-end tickets. We don't I think if they release level 8. And they don't give us more tickets,
They will give us more tickets. We
Yep.
got a lot more tickets when level 7 came out. We didn't have this free-to-play players can remember we didn't have the ticket at the end of the challenge rewards where you get all your stars. There wasn't a high-end ticket there. There wasn't the all cup score ticket as well. I mean, we definitely get more tickets than we used to get. After level 7 came out. So I hope that will continue and we'll get more tickets with level 8 as well.
So that's the leading point, and I'm glad you picked that up. Because I think that's really the point, is that that level of amount of increase in tickets that they gave us, I think that they're going to increase it even more coming into level 8. I think that if they say, hey, Antilev, would you like us to increase to level 8, but we give you twice as many tickets? Would you like that? You'd be like, sure, that's a welcoming thing, and they're not gonna necessarily present it that way. But I think in giving us that ultimatum, I think many of us would say, all right, hey, yeah, if you're gonna give me more tickets, what's level 8, right? For these, go pass only accounts, free to play, it's even better for you guys if you think about it that way, because you weren't really hitting that maximum ceiling that often to where it was a huge dilemma. Yeah, are you going against people that could have a higher ceiling? Yes, that's not what I'm saying. But my point is that ceiling is so high up there for a free-to-play player that if by getting more tickets, by raising that ceiling, you don't care where the ceiling is. But you give me more tickets, you'll take it every day of the week. What do you think? Because I knew you have a free-to-play account.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just about the tickets. There's also, if you look at for example, the special pipes which came in the previous year compared to before that, we did not get 6 of 50 high-end special pipes or 7 of 50 high-end special pipes when level 6 was the max. There's a 12%, 40% high-end pipe, so that is also a big source of dupes where you get more than before, and a lot of gold pipes where you can pull coin box drivers. So I mean, it's not, you have to think. I mean, I'm optimistic that because I feel like they have to give us more alongside level 8 to keep everybody from revolting. And I'm disappointed in Nintendo, although it's not really a big surprise that they couldn't come up with a more creative way to get big spenders to spend more. You could talk about doing adding a 4th item slot like engine or wheels that people would have to invest in. I mean, level 8 seems like the most kind of brain dead way of trying to get people to spend more. But I mean, Nintendo is a conservative, old-fashioned company, so it's not really a surprise. The thing I think most people should remember is that progress in this game is not absolute. It's relative to others. When you're doing ACR, when you're playing ranked, you're playing against other people. And most people are not whales. Most people just are like, they're from all across the spectrum. I mean, I see so many people this tour like, I'm going hard for ACR because this is my last chance. Next tour, you're not going to be up against inventories of people with full level 8 stuff. It's not how it works. It's not how it worked when level 7 came out. Everybody didn't have everything level 7 right away. I think actually next tour might be one of the best tours to go for ACR, especially if you have a few tickets saved, because there'll be so much less competition. So just remember that it's not like next tour everybody's that you're playing against has level 8 stuff. Everyone is in the same boat. It is a struggle. Sure, people who spend heavy will have a little bit more advantage, but that is not most people. So I think it's important to keep in mind.
Certainly a great point. It's just like starting a race. We've all been held back. It doesn't matter how fast you were going to increase. We're all starting at the same point, really. And I think has my account made a lot of progress over the last 6 months? I think it has with a lot of cap tickets, but like level 7, I've been just taking all my coin boxers to level 7. I think that the cards are probably the biggest increase because I've probably had most of the drivers at level 7. When I look at my ACR sheet and like the average of level 7 versus other stuff, I mean it's stayed about the same for the last 6 months. So I would not say I just got there faster, and then everyone caught up. And so I think what's been cool from like the perspective of VR. We've had so many members here recently join who could have not done top 100 6 months ago, but now they've caught up because they've been smart in investing, and now they can actually kind of punch above their weight class because the weight class above them has been held back. And so I think there's just so many great drivers that have had access to be able to do it, because those whales just can't run off with the competition. So it's been fun. It's been great getting to know so many great new drivers. And we'll say, putting it out there for when it comes to ER perspective in general, we are accepting applications. Anyone who is scoring consistently 95% or above on the All Cup ranking sheet, we want to talk to you. At least have the conversation. We can't guarantee anything. But these are great drivers, and we want the best drivers, regardless of how much you spend in ER. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I think we're not looking to replace people that are quitting the game, but we understand that there are going to be people leaving the game, and we want to continue ER being a clan that people look up to and respect. So there's that. But kind of to put a fine point on the fixed DS, I think the point that we got across to Nintendo was that we want tickets. I think what we like about the daily selects is like the endorphins in the morning as we open up our app. So I hope that they continue daily selects, and I think based on the feedback, they will keep daily selects, because they could easily next tour, who knows, get rid of daily selects entirely. I think another reason why they're kind of shifting things, and who knows, maybe even they heard our feedback and said, you know what, we'll give them high-end tickets in their tier shop. They're gonna have to spend a little bit more, but like if they want tickets and they want to buy them, we'll give them access to it. But we want to make that access even. And I think that's really, like when I think about the heart of the daily select movement, I think Nintendo, their intentions were generally good in that they probably want everyone to get access. And new players who don't have everything maxed, are probably not going to have access to the high-end tickets that other people do. So by making it a tier shop available, they actually make it relatively even, and can let those newer players catch up if they want to. Now, going back to one of my other questions, which is a more important asset at this point in time? Is it coins? Is it rubies? Should I be pulling on pipes? That's what I hear a lot of people say is, should I be pulling on this pipe to get coins to store up for next tour? Antelope, I'll hear what your feedback is, but for me, I think you want to have a nice stash, something in the 50 to 100,000 coins, so that you can get some of these tier shop tickets. These are going to be really helpful. But do you need to pull on all these pipes right now to get these coins? Not necessarily. I think having rubies right now is more important than having coins later. I think when you're thinking about how many coins do I need, that kind of gives you a pretty good baseline. But you don't want to store up too much in coins, because think about it, like I thought about this pipe, and you notice I didn't do a pipe pulling video on Sunday, and we'll get to the pipe here in a second. But for me, it's like I want those 450 rubies to help me in my efforts to maxing out things. And so for me, right now, rubies are very, very precious, and I'm holding on to them, especially since I'm not spending as much money in the game as I used to. So from that perspective, Antelope, what are your thoughts on coin versus ruby? Which is the more important asset right now? Should people be pulling on pipes right now to stock up their coins?
Like for my main, I did. But that if it wasn't a really good pipe that I didn't want to, go hard on, I wouldn't have. But I was also almost completely out of coins, and I thought, okay, I want to when the new patch comes out, I want to be able to buy up the daily select items, every day as much as possible. So I didn't really pull much at all. I think the last time I pulled really heavily was in the New Year's Eve tour. I did a few pulls in Singapore to get Luigi Vacation, and I did a couple of YOLO 10s after that, but I've mostly been in saving mode for the past 2 months. So I had around 800 rubies saved up on my main account. I spent them all on the special pipe, and I got like over 100,000 coins. So that's gonna, I'm not gonna be getting high-end tickets in my daily shop, at least right away. So I can buy those tier sub tickets, and I can buy the dupes that come, to get quicker to getting categories maxed out. So I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a right or wrong answer, but that's the approach I'm taking. And yeah, my free to play account, it doesn't really matter because I'm not getting anything. Yeah, that's just carry on as normal.
So, all right, that's really helpful to kind of hear your vantage point. And I think 100,000 coins is worth stocking up on.
Yeah, well, I was below like 20K before, so I mean, I was like, okay,
yep.
Because I didn't pull much for a very long time, so
yeah, no, that makes sense. Good. Okay, so we talked about that piece. There's some other information that they had in that level 7. You mentioned one is having this extra track. So thinking about this onion of impact, I first want to give a huge condolences and also appreciation for everyone who does a spreadsheet, to Tabor, to you, to Bam and Gerbs, to DKR, for everyone who does a spreadsheet, because level 8 is gonna give you guys some more work, and I know you guys already do so much of it, but we're gonna get a new extra track. Let's talk about this. I actually see this as a really positive thing, because to me, I'm thinking like, every single item that I have at like level 700 or something, now I get like Black Rate Sale now gets another track. How awesome is that?
It might be a city track though.
It could easily be. Yeah,
it could get Tokyo Blur 2RT or something.
It's the ultimate kiss of death. I get that, and I do think that they'll make some of these items that are overpowered and give maybe a not so great track. I could see that happening.
But it is a really big like wild card, because we see in the rankings and how we rate things, how much a single buff can. And we'll see that later in the top 10. How much a single buff can improve the overall standing of an item. And now we're giving everything a single buff, and we see how good those things are going to be. It's going to be a huge shakeup. So that's exciting. On the other hand, it makes level 8 way more powerful than level 7. Level 7 was just like extra points. Level 8 is an extra track unlock, and it's going to be an extra second line bonus multiplier. So for carts, that means you're going to get an extra base points multiplier. For gliders, a longer combo boost, and for drivers, you're going to get a higher frenzy chance. Level 8 is going to be like, I think it's going to be like get to level 4 for item plus, get to level 6 for the unlock, and get to level 8 for the last unlock. Those are going to be the sort of milestones. And level 7 is just going to be kind of a nothing. Yeah, I mean,
isn't that crazy to think
about?
Like
level 5 right now. You don't talk about somebody taking an item to level 5, do you?
Just for that?
It's pointless.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you bring up some good points there, and I think it's I kind of want to take as much time as we can to talk about one of those, because I really want to talk about at the very end. It talks about the bonus points. We'll get to that in a second. Don't let me forget about that, because I want to make sure we hit on that. But the thing about what I'm really excited about this also too is the chance of frenzy. So I think when we think about this game and how grueling it is, it really comes down to 1 part loadout, 2 parts time. Time is like the biggest asset in whether you're going for top 100, you're going for ranked. And so to think about, like, I could get that that run that I really need in, even 10-20% less time is exciting to me because I have a busy life. I have this channel. I have a lot going on. And so for me, it's like one step closer to getting that perfect run is amazing to me. I mean, like everyone who's watching this, you guys put in a lot of time into this game. In fact, I would probably put you guys all up in the top 10% of who puts time into this game. So you're going to get that run. It's just a matter of you get a run now or later. Whereas if you're playing against people who aren't as committed to this game, they're probably going to give up well before anywhere close to that great run anyway. So I think the people who really enjoy this game will benefit to that in many ways. It could help those casuals, but really, like, they're not. It's a numbers game. You have to be playing a lot. I don't even think a casual is playing even enough to be able to see maybe a huge difference, maybe a little difference for sure. But really, it's the people that are going to put a lot of time into this game, and maybe it might even make some people interested in doing all cup ranking because they're getting their ranked scores maybe a little quicker. They're like, all right, let's try something new. Let's do this all cup ranking. Get into it. Any thoughts on that? On the frenzy chance?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I just think it makes level 8 way more of a boost than level 7 ever was, which makes level 8 like much more dangerous to the balance of the game. So I don't necessarily see that as positive. It is kind of exciting, it will. I think it will put some more importance on getting things to level 8. But yeah, I mean, we know for a lot of people, it's just not really going to be that possible. So. I think we have to see what else comes along with it. But I definitely, it makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The one part that I would say is a negative for great drivers is the combo time. The reason being is I think most of the great players, the players that care about this game enough to watch my channel, I feel like I'm still pretty niche. Is that I have a lot of strategic players that really like hearing and talking about strategy. I will say keeping combo is not necessarily a big concern for those maybe watching this game. Maybe some, but I would say that people not watching this, it's a bigger concern. And one of my thought processes is that I think there are only 3 tours since Top 100 came out that I don't have that badge, and my first one was, I think, Thanksgiving of 2020, and it was a trick tour. And I just underestimated what everyone was going to do. And what I realized is that on a trick tour, obviously you have all trick tracks. There are RT or trick tracks. And so keeping combo is not hard. And so the drivers with less skill were scoring better because they weren't dropping combo. So, even if you drop combo...
They had that with the pumpkins, too, in the Halloween tour. Because it was easier to keep combo.
Yep. So, like, keeping combo is a major problem with casual players. For great players like the ones watching this program, keeping combo might be a little tough on some tracks, but overall, like, it's not an alarming problem that we would run into. So, keeping a combo time...
Getting the level 8 second line bonus is not good. I mean, if you have skill... getting experience in the game, you can full combo any track in the game with a level 2 high-end glider. So going from 6 to 8 and getting the extra 5%, 0.05%, whatever combo time is not gonna have an impact.
So this helps the casual whales,
exactly
the people who can buy their way
whales,
to yeah. So I just want to throw that out there, is that is a negative to a lot of the because it kind of cuts into your skill, in my opinion. Everything else we kind of talked about. The last part is that it talks about at the very, very end, bonus points. And it says, beginning next tour, the bonus points earned when using certain items will be increased. So you and I have had discussions on ER and other servers. And the bonus points, what that term means, could mean a couple different things. Because we have bonus combo points. We have bonus points boost. We have bonus points. There's bonus points could mean any number of things. And then we have the word items. We don't know what that means either. So I think some people were saying, like, what if they gave like newer items, like a multiplier or some way so that people would pull on newer pipes? Could totally be. I could totally see that happening. My thought process and the way I saw that, and I'd love to get your opinion on it right afterwards. I see items. I'm thinking like almost like skill, and I think as I look at it, cart skills basically negligible. Jump boost maybe on some trick tracks could see a nice little boost there. But like you're not when you're picking between carts, it's levels, and you're not worrying about skills that much. With gliders, there's a little bit more impact because there's certain tracks where you want a mushroom. There's certain tracks that a certain skill might be better than others. Multiplayer aside, but for drivers, huge difference. We're talking about like coin box. Really, coin box is like the most overpowered skill. Now you could say, hey, the right driver using a boomerang skill could outproduce a coin box. Sure, given enough time, enough skill, you could. But coin box at this point in time is still so overpowered that it makes pulling for this driver you see here, Mario Aviation, not interesting to us. And so that hurts Nintendo. That hurts Nintendo's revenue. That hurts Nintendo's like how they play the game. I did some research on like nerfs and buffs over the weekend. And some of the history, it takes place all the time in like fighting games, or I think about like in Pokemon games where you have like a advantage versus disadvantage. And there's sometimes where things are unequal, unbalanced, and they'll buff something, and actually to talk about buffing being the better solution than nerfing, because you don't want to take away something that was great. You just want to make something that was not great. And so my expectations would be that my analysis and interpretation of what I'm reading is that they could be buffing, say, dash panel or dash ring, and maybe instead of making it 10 points per dash ring, make it 20 points per dash ring, and making it a little bit more competitive. Now, I'm not saying that coin box is going to be dead. I still think coin box is going to be number one skill, but it's not going to be like a massive jump like the way it is right now. So my interpretation is items being like skills. There's a lot of ways that they could take items, but my guess is that the restructuring of the point system is up for grabs. And I don't want to, until I look at it, until we see next week, I don't want to make too many assumptions, but one of the things they could do is buff some of the skills that we consider not plus skills. And so there's that part. And then also, we didn't really touch on this that much, is at level 8, we could see like a skill plus, and so we have certain skills that at level 4, gets a plus. It would be cool if at level 8 they got a plus, and maybe the coin box plus isn't as great as the jump between the second plus of these not great skills. And so that's one way of Nintendo's way of saying, hey, here's an extra little bump for the coin box. Here's a much bigger jump for something like, dash ring as an example. What do you think about this, Antlev? Am I off my rocker?
I'm not quite as optimistic. My cynical take is that they're basically just going to increase the base point value of the crap skills in the game. So like a bomb hit or a red shell hit or green shell hit will go from like 25 base points to 40 or 50 base points. And you'll be able to score a little bit higher with them, but it's not going to do anything to shake up the meta.
Well, that could make a big impact for Lucky 7.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, have you tried hitting people with red shells during a Lucky 7 frenzy? They're gonna go every other direction than towards bots. No, but I mean, I would love to be proven wrong. I hope that there is something. I hope that there is some kind of balancing going on. But I mean, Nintendo doesn't make really, really big drastic changes in such a way that like they're totally gonna shake up the meta. I think. So as much as I would love to be surprised and proven wrong, and I will hold my hand up and admit it I am, I don't see it being like a huge impact. What would be really nice is if they made the glider skills more impactful, and there would be some like real strategy involved there. If they increased like mushroom or blooper plus points, it might give an advantage to Lucky 7 drivers. If they increased banana bonus points, it might give a boost to giant banana drivers, for example. That would be a nice surprise, but I'm not like real optimistic there's going to be a big meta shakeup from that part.
Fair enough. We'll have to see next week. The last thing I'll say about level 8 is that I do think there could be some changes that they don't mention here. meaning that they could open this up to tier 80 or something to those extent when it comes to ranked. They could offer a new ranked mode. They could release battle mode. I think this is it's such a weird point in the game, right? It's like, why not during an anniversary? I don't know why they're choosing here like the beginning of March, but I do think there will be some other changes that they make to the game. I'm not as bullish on level 200, level 250. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? I didn't think this was going to happen, so there's been wild and crazy things. So I want to kind of put all my thoughts out there right here so that we can kind of clip this out. But we do have the rest of our show to move on to after about 45 minutes of us talking. So as of anything else you want to talk about level 8 right now or forever hold your peace?
No, I'm gonna miss the next rundown, so we'll see in a month what actually happens and when all dust is settled. I'm very curious, but let's just see what happens.
All right, man. Well, cool. Moving on to the week 1 pipe. So I know we're all white knuckling our rubies because we know the level 8's coming. So I have a hard time getting excited about this pipe, but Mario looks awesome. He's got a cool but not plus skill. But we have a nice little hitbox, which we'll talk about on the next slide. It's hitbox compared to others. And then we have a nice glider that aesthetically pleasing. Like, this has got to be, an 8.5 on a 10-point scale. But unfortunately, some of the skills and the timing's so rough. But what are your thoughts on this week 1 pipe?
I like. He's got a cool outfit, and the cart seems like it's gonna be pretty awesome. But I think this is really, you only pull this if you just love the driver, or you're just a whale who collects everything. I passed it up. I'm a man with free to play. It's a 6-100 pipe with no plus skill. So for me, it's a pass.
All right, let's get the good part of this pipe, which is just an update on the hitbox ranking. So first, want to make a huge shout out to Curtis, who has, retired from the game, retired from the community, and we wish him all the best. If somehow you're watching, Curtis, we thank you so much for what you've done. He has handed off the baton. It took us a tour, but we want to make a huge shout out to Elarak23. He's one of our members. He is now in ER. He has picked up where Curtis has left off by taking on all the hitbox rankings. And so huge thanks to him. You, Tabor, myself have been trying to find a way to move on without having this information. So huge thanks to Elarak. Absolutely love you, bro. So just also want to take a refresh on what does the hitbox mean. You can check out the hitbox video in the description. Really helpful video, kind of talks about this. But ultimately, because we went back and forth, like, is it a 2D box? Is it a 3D box? Well, essentially, if you look at that little car that's slightly to the right of the middle of the screen, you can see kind of an angle of what a typical drift. Is this every drift? Is this going to encapsulize everything that you're doing in the cart? No. But we felt like this was a pretty good balance of kind of the impact to get these coins. You'll notice that there's a from the point of the kind of the corner of that card to the left is X1, and then the wider but not full angle in the blue would be X2. Together they make the size, and that's where you see these numbers in parentheses. So Off-Roader, Vampire Flyer, and Combo Cruiser all have the same exact total size number there of 324. So from that perspective, you already knew the Off-Roader was really big, you knew Vampire was really big. Combo Cruiser, we did not have this information last tour, so that's extremely helpful. And actually, I think that I'll have to edit this before I put it to Reddit because these are actually in opposite directions. Not a big deal. I want to make sure the Vampire is following his... Oh, that's not working either. All right, I'll do this later. But you'll notice that these three all have the same exact size. And these are really what we call like massive carts. And then when we look down, we actually see... Oh, man. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll have to edit that. All All right, so we are right here. I think everyone can kind of see it pretty
It's
well.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so these are the massive ones, and then everyone else is still very, very large. We're talking, shaves of a coin, and that's kind of like the mindset we want to set out there. So Sunny Surf Sailor at 317, Crawley Cart at 314, Banana Master at 314, and that's kind of like another that second tier there. And then there's the Cupid's Arrow, which we did not have this information. It's a terrible tour to not have this information because we had both the Combo Cruiser and the Cupid's Arrow come out. But these are both top 10 carts when it comes to the size. And then the prop cart. The prop cart's actually tied with the Cupid Arrow. So, that perspective, it's really helpful to kind of know. I have the Cupid's Arrow because it was in that 100 pipe. I had that. That's kind of around the general size of the prop cart. And then you kind of have the lower tier with still massive, but not quite as massive. Paintster, Surf Sailor, and these are kind of in the 290 area. You're still talking about 30 units less than the off-roader Vampire Flyer Combo Cruiser, but still very, very large. And then you have kind of and I was going to do a top 10, but I knew people were going to ask about the B-Dasher Mark II, and I knew people were going to ask about the Cact X, and this is a big tour to talk about the Cact R. So I thought I'd kind of throw that in there too, even though, these are, good percentages smaller than some of these top carts. So this gives you a pretty good look at the hitboxes and kind of this updated top 10, top 12. And so what are your thoughts on the hitbox and all these new carts that are massive?
Just don't take the numbers as gospel because some of it's length and some of it's width, and so I know like the brooms are rated as pretty large cars, but if you actually drive with them, they don't, because so much of their size comes from their length. It maybe doesn't feel like as big of an effective hitbox. So it's a good guide to get you an idea where stuff puts together, but really you should try driving with a cart before you put a lot of tickets on it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I remember the Merlion. I was like so pumped about taking that one up, and then I drove it and I was like, "Yee, this is not great." All right, we got a lot to still get through, even though we're 51 minutes through. So a lot of new items, right, guys? So we talked about the new stuff coming through the Mario Aviator pipe. Then we have the light blue Shy Guy that came in the ranked reward. Then we have 2 new Zoom brooms that you're referring to, and I'm sure Tabor's thanking his Zoom broom gods that they're not possessive. They are Magna Broom and Star Broom. Then we have the record setter, the glider that came out in yesterday's pipe, and then Wonderful Wings, the glider that came in a pack. So, Antilev, I won't waste any time talking about these items. I know these are some of the best value you bring to the table. Tell us a little bit about these new items and kind of how their coverage is starting out, which again is not gospel.
So in general, this is a good tour to debut because there's no city tracks and we have some really hard paywalled new tracks. The Sky Garden tracks are all in general pretty rough to get coverage on. Let's start with the drivers. I'll actually start with Light Blue Shy Guy. Not worth it. He starts off with 5 tracks. 4 of them are Coinbox tracks, and the 5th one is Rock Mountain T, which is basically a free 200 actions with anything. I still use Black Yoshi on that one, for example. You can boombox it, but you don't have to. Mario Aviator. Oh, and he's got a bad skill, Ice Flower. So if you don't get top 3 or whatever, top 5, whatever you need to get him this week or next week, don't worry about it. He's not going to be that good. Mario Aviator. Yeah, he's got the dash ring, which is an okay skill, but not one of the top 4. He does only have two of his starting 8 tracks are Coinbox tracks, so that's actually about not in this because there's cut boosts on I think Calamari Desert and RMX Ghost Valley. But those are normally not Coinbox tracks. It doesn't have a lot of overlap. He overlaps 3 times with Wario Hiker, 3 times with Tanooki Rosalina, and 3 times with Charge and Chuck. Looking at the carts, let's start with the prop cart. This is actually the prop cart is actually debuting at number 29 in the rankings, which is crazy. I don't think any new item has started out that high. It's because it has 9 tracks, good tracks, and it's huge. yeah, it looks like it might be really good. So it has 9 tracks, so it does have some overlap. It's got 4 overlaps with the Star Room, 4 with the Fast Frank, 4 with the Clackety Cart, and 3 with the Wild Slugger, 3 with the Pinch Hitter, and 3 with the Combo Cruiser. So not really the most meta cards, but that is a really, really strong start and probably the most attractive of the 8 items here. The 2 Brooms, they both start with 7 tracks, and they're Brooms, so they're kind of Marmite. You love them or you don't love them. I'm personally not a fan, but the Star Room, it doesn't have overlap with more than on 2 tracks with any item except for the prop card. So that's actually a pretty interesting start. And the Magna Room has overlaps with Vampire Flyer, Tanooki Cart, and Carrot Cart all 3 times. Actually, that's a little bit more worrying because Tanooki and Vampire are pretty meta. Let's go over to the gliders. We got the Sky High Flyer. That's a 1 pipe, starting off with 8 tracks. It's got 3 overlaps with the Wonderful Wings, 3 overlaps with the Super, 3 overlaps with the Record Setter, and 3 overlaps with the Bullet Bill Hanafuda. Moving over to the Record Setter, it's this cool glider that kind of goes up the longer you glide. It's actually super cool. I pulled for it, and it's just really fun to play with.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel Studfit, but I really like it. It starts with 8 tracks, 3 overlaps with Wonderful Wings, 3 overlaps with Swooper, 3 overlaps with the Sky High Flyer, 3 overlaps with the Ship's Wheel, and 3 overlaps with the Rose Parasol. So there are a few meta gliders in there as well. It might be a little bit worrying.
Oh no,
yeah.
That's your favorite.
What's that?
Isn't that your favorite?
What?
The Rose Parasol?
The Rose Parasol, yeah. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite. I think 8-bit Flower is my favorite actually now, but Rose Parasol, is one of my favorites indeed. So it's a little bit worrying. And then we finally have the Wonderful Wings, which looks really interesting. Only starts with 7 tracks, but barely has any overlap. There's only 2 gliders where it has overlap 3 or more, and those are both new items, the Sky High Flyer and the Record Setter. So that's a banner only one, but that would be my sleeper pick for if you want to gamble on a glider, the Wonderful Wings.
I like it, man. The Record Setter looks awesome. I agree with you.
Looks awesome. It looks so awesome. And it's so cool to use.
No, I mean it is awesome. And I'm tempted to pull. We'll get to that in a second. But talking first about the non-spotlight drivers in week 1, we do have 2 new additions. We have Captain Toad and Bowser Jr. Pirate. So good to keep those in. It's nice to kind of have some of these fun, obscure drivers in there and not just these other ones. So I'm glad anything that they can throw more into the drivers, I'm all open for. As for carts, it doesn't really matter what they add. It's so hard to get something specific anyway. Nothing new here for carts, though. And then for gliders, nothing new here. So the biggest changes there for the drivers. Let's get into the week 2 pipe, because this is interesting. We're not sure exactly what the percentages are. Our assumptions would be 12% with 9 spotlights. It does appear as if we'll have some, Halloween-related items or witchcraft-related items in this pipe. It's interesting timing. I think this would be a cool pipe to pull on in other situations because I like the gliders. It's cool to get these carts. Now, of course, come back. We have it. Most of us have it high levels, but to get any of those carts, to get any of those gliders would be pretty sweet. What are your thoughts, Anslev? Are you going to be pulling?
No, and it's mainly here's the thing about this pipe. It's a 12% pipe, but you have to also think about out of those. I think a lot of times we get baited by high percentage pipes with a lot of bad items in them. This kind of come down to your opinion on brooms. Do you like driving with them or not? I am not a fan. I do have the Zoom Broom double capped at level 4 on my free-to-play account because it just has such good coverage, but I really don't like using it. I try to get used to it. It's just not comfortable. So I would say the three brooms for me are not a plus point. For the drivers, Kamak, I already have him level 7 on my main. It would be nice to have a dupe or 2 for my free-to-play account, but I'm not going to go into 100 pipe for dupes. And the other 2 drivers are Peach Halloween. She gets in ranked a lot, but I mean they're not attractive. The most attractive part about this pipe is the gliders. These are awesome gliders. All 3 of them are phenomenal. But yeah, do you want to go into 100 pipe for 3 really good gliders, or do you want to go into a 50 pipe for 3 really good gliders, which we also have this week? That's up to you. So I mean, yes, it's a 12% pipe, but I mean, you also, you could make it a 12% pipe with only like, items that came out in the first 2 months of Mario Kart, like Mario Musician and Pauline and Bad Wagon and, the Yellow Taxi and stuff. And it wouldn't be worth pulling just because it's 12%. You also have to look at the items in there. If they're interesting, look, if you like brooms, this is an awesome pipe. If you don't have Kamek, this is an awesome pipe. Yeah, but I won't be pulling on either account.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not pulling this pipe, but the 12% odds is really, really good. It's got some decent items. The why we're having Halloween in February is perplexing to me, but it is what it is. I will say the 12% odds very different from the odds in this pipe. The 8-bit glider pipe. We'll kind of go through it pretty quickly because most people have already established what their thought process is on this pipe. But this is an interesting pipe. In fact, I'm really glad we didn't come out with this video on Friday because I can guarantee you we would have gotten the odds wrong. I can just promise you that. What's interesting about this pipe, this Taurus specifically, is it's the end of a celebration. But I don't know about you, Angela. This does not feel like the end of a celebration at all. Like, we don't have like additional things in the token shop. We don't have pipes that are like amazing. I mean, I think Aviator is cool. I like it's nice that they had the Zoom brooms, but I don't know. I was expecting a little
No,
bit more.
I'm with you. I mean, if you compare it to the New Year's Eve tour, which really felt like the culmination of something. I mean, look, Sky Garden is actually a really cool track, and I like it, but it doesn't feel like a track that we've been leading up to. The same way that the 3DS Bowser's Castle was.
Yeah, and it's hard to compare like to a New Year's tour because like New Year's has always been a big
Yeah,
deal here in Mario Kart Tour. But I'm thinking like maybe compare it to Summer Celebration, and like how they went all out and gave us like a bunch of tickets and they gave us things. I don't know. I just feel
sure.
like they were like a little bit
We don't
more.
even we don't even get freebies in this tour. So
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. It, I, that being said, I know a lot of people are like really disappointed by the odds in this pipe, but the thing is that this is the other extreme. The items are so good, um, that I still think it's worth pulling. I pulled this pipe on both accounts. I pulled about 260 rubies because that's all I had on my free to play account. I had none of the 5 high end gliders, and I didn't have 8-bit jumping Luigi either because he's a gold pass gift.
Mm.
I got 4 of the 5 gliders. I didn't get 8-bit Fireflower, but I mean, I didn't have a high-end glider for week 1, Sky Garden. I didn't have a high-end glider for week 2, Sky Garden T. And there's a spotlight in it, so I got all 3 of those things, and now I'm gonna win rank this week, and it might help me win rank next week. Because literally all 5, I don't know about the record setter, but the other 4 gliders are all amazing gliders. And you think, okay, I'm only getting 3 high ends out of 50 pulls, but each one of them is guaranteed to be an amazing item. The only reason I would say don't pull this pipe is if you only want to go for a specific off spotlight item. Say, okay, I only want to have 8-bit Fireflower, I only want to have 8-bit Mushroom. You will probably be disappointed because you'll probably pull the wrong thing and spend a lot of rubies. But the fact that there's a spotlight in it and the spotlight's really cool, helps a lot. I also pulled this a lot on my main account because number 1, I need the coins. Number 2, I don't have 8-bit Star, 8-bit Bill at a high level, and I really also wanted to level up 8-bit Super Mushroom. That's going to be my next heavy investment, I think, for glider. So I mean, yes, the odds are very, very disappointing. At the same time, I think, for a lot of accounts, every single item you get out of this for high end is a valuable item. If you compare that to like a 600 pipe, you basically looking at 3 spotlights that are interesting and 3 whatever. It's basically double as good as a 6 100 pipe. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. A lot of people think differently. They're just like, yeah, 3 out of 50. No.
Yeah, I would say you are on one end of the spectrum, and there are other
Yeah.
people on the other end. I'm more neutral. I'm probably a slightly more on the other end, but like not on the polar opposite. I don't think this is a bad pipe. I think this is, but I also don't think this is a must pull. My opinion is that like the items here are 4 out of 5 stars, It could, when I'm talking about 5 stars, what would be better than this? A coin box driver or something that's like, I think drivers in general are more valuable than gliders. But I understand, like, for a free to play, getting like 3 new gliders that have awesome coverage, it's a game changer, man. And for you
Absolute game
going for
changer.
it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
100% approve of you going with that direction. But then I think the odds are really really low. Like, these are much lower than I was expecting. I mean, I felt like if it was a 4, like a 4 high end, I probably would, I might put like a must pull. I was expecting like 5 high ends, and I would say everyone must pull on this pipe and fight off the temptation of the nut rubies. That's like the third category, which would be timing. I give it like 1 star there and 1 star for odds. Because the timing is just so bad, everyone's white knuckling their rubies, and really, like, if you think about these gliders, the gold pass only, the free to play, these are the people that should be pulling on this type of pipe. But those are also the ones that are going to be absolutely destroyed next tour, like, because they're going to be trying to catch up, and it's going to be tough. So I don't know. My thought process is it's terrible timing for that. For my own account, I pulled enough to get the spotlight, and I was happy to get out when I did, and that's mainly because I have the bullet bill, have the fire flower, have the 8-bit star, all level 7. I will say that I do think Nintendo really has maybe a higher value for these jumping Mario and jumping Luigi. And I know that, like, the Luigi has been paywalled, but I think that they have a lot maybe more valuable than, like, they see that almost as like a high end or something, because it's rare, and maybe the collectors would pull on it, maybe kind of keep it as like half a high end, or I don't know, because the odds of having a 6% and a 50 pipe like this would be like, to have this as a 30 pipe, I would have gone, even with the items I have, I still probably would have gone all in just to get some coins, just to get the super mushroom. The super mushroom would be a huge glider for my account. It would help me a lot on the Mario Shipyard. It would help me a lot on this Sky Garden. Like, it would really help me out, but I just know that that's one item I'm not going to get. I mean, you see my videos.
That's what I just said. If you would go into the pipe
Yep.
to pull for one specific off-spotlight item, you're probably going to be disappointed. So yeah, in that sense, you made the right decision.
But man, this I will say, this record setter looks amazing.
Yes. I really hope. I think I have it like level 4.5 now on my main account because I spent so many rubies on the pipe. So I really hope it becomes good, because then I'm pretty close to, like, having it at a decently high usable level.
Yeah. At the same point in time, I'm trying to think of Holy Vikings words that he had on Kart Talk, which was you can't pull on every pipe. And so I was like, as much as I'd love to pull on this pipe,
you could, but hope you're bitch.
you totally could. But I just don't think for me, I have in the 400 to 500,000 coin range going into next tour. So I'm not concerned about the coins, and I'm not concerned about the gliders themselves. I was able to get everything at least once in case I want to take tickets on it. Would be great to level up, yes, but it's also the downside is not having those rubies next tour when I really need them. And trying to kind of think about things in a dolphin perspective is new to me, and I'm trying to embrace it as best I possibly can. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not doing very good with it. Which leads us to packs. We have week 1 packs, the week 2 packs. We'll kind of breeze through this. Most of you guys probably have already made your decision on this. I would say that the week 1 packs substantially better than the week 2 packs from my perspective. Now, Toadette Explorer, she's been in our top 10. She's great, but she's also been around for a while. You might already have gotten her in other items. If you're going to spend, that amount of money on that pack, I probably would go through and think about things like a newer item like the Tanooki Mario and the Tanooki Cart, which I just think, like, that one's still building. I don't think it's peaked quite yet, and it's got great value, and I'm sure you'll touch on that again. I will say, the Pink Dozer, I really love the Pink Dozer because it is Jump Boost Plus on all T-Tracks or RT tracks.
All TRT, yeah.
So that is the one time where skill matters, is like Jump Boost on a T-Track. And so to only get T-Tracks, only get RT tracks, like, that is actually a really good cart to have. But I don't think it's still worth paying $40 for, or however much it is in your country, to get in. And Funky, although he's a driver and those drivers are worth more, his value just keeps getting less and less because there's each tour somebody new gets one of his tracks. in this case, I think we had a couple people take some of his Rock Mountain track. So I think Meowser might have taken one. So again,
or two.
Or two. Who knows? So anyway, those are my opinions. I think it's, for me, getting the Tanooki pack once and the Wing pack once was my strategy. I did get the Tanooki Mario pack twice. So that was how I ended things, because I did want that cart twice, and getting it twice would actually help out my Tanooki Mario to get to level 4. I still haven't used them. So not too excited about that, but the wings were pretty cool, and I hope you're right about that being a powerful one. Any opinions on the packs?
No, I pretty much have the same assessment as you have. I haven't really been buying packs since New Year, but I did buy the Tanooki pack a couple of times because I finally pulled the trigger and took it all the way from level 1 to level 7 and double capped it. And I'm really happy about that. It's such a cool card.
I know you had.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking about it for like months. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, well, I finally did it.
Yeah, that's the other part about like level 7 and up to level 8 is I wonder a good. I kind of talked about the Dragon Wings kind of being left behind. I wonder, for me, one of the thoughts I've been having is, what if I just took all my tickets to just take the Vampire Flyer, the Silver King, and the Yellow Off-Roader, just take it to level 8, and then just kind of like use that as my foundation. And then
you could look at it in the same way you look at triple capping, like, because you can't triple cap that many things, so you can look at level 8 the same way.
Yeah, so for you, Tanooki covers a lot of tracks, and so that makes sense to, for your point, take to level 7, let the game take it to 8.
I think, and I will triple cap it as soon as I get I just don't have the cap tickets for it now, but I will do it as soon as I have them.
Soon enough. And then a huge shout out to Hydra, who already has our tier shop rewards for next week. The Dozer, an old school cart, still really nice. I don't know if it's worth putting coins on it, just with coins being at a premium next tour. But most likely you already have it, so you're probably not having to fight that urge that much. And then you got some super items. Again, I'm not really too interested in really talking too much about that. For the buffs, I know we are kind of behind schedule, so we'll kind of breeze through some of these. I will shout out to Luigi Vacation. He gets a huge good buffs here. And then Mario Golf. Mario Golf's not a driver that I would recommend necessarily people clamoring for, but Luigi Vacation. To get 4 tracks there, we got Luigi's Mansion R. So this is a track that has a lot of Lucky 7 drivers. I will say this is a free track. I kind of mentioned that a couple times. I do always want to explain that, because who knows how many people could be watching this episode for the very first time. A free track being the way that the bonus point structure works is that anytime you get to 200 actions, the bonuses stop right there. And so really the difference between an action all the way up to 200, pretty substantial, like thousands of points, if per 10, whatever it might be. And then it drops up substantially. We're talking about maybe hundreds of points for every 10 that you go above that. So really, for any track that's easy to get 200 actions, you just get those 200 actions and move on. You alluded to it earlier with Black Yoshi on Rock Mountain T, kind of the same mentality. So for Luigi Vacation, I don't see that track as being like extremely good for him, but it is better than some of the Lucky 7s. Now, it's not like a trick track, so you're not like too worried about that, but since it is, I think it's 4 item boxes on that track?
Yes.
Or
yes.
How many?
And it's actually a really nice, I've used Baby Luigi this one a lot on both accounts. There's 2 item boxes really close to the start line, so it's really good to hit those 2 item boxes in 4th, 5th place, see if you get a Boomerang Frenzy, and then reset really quick. So it is a really nice track for boomboxing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great for him, and he would put to death all the Lucky 7 drivers. If only it wasn't so easy to get to 200 actions on this very unique track that we've had a long time, and you're probably not worried about coverage there. But for what it's worth, he does get that track. He also gets Sky Garden R, which is a great track for him, and there's some other overlap, I believe, with Kangaroo Yoshi and Lakitu Party Time.
On Sky Garden R, he's got overlap with Teleview Mario, and on Sky Garden T, he's got overlap with Kangaroo and Party Time, though Lucky too has plus skills.
Yep, and then Ghost Valley, there's another top skill on there too, I believe.
Meowser.
So again, not the greatest buffs, but it's always good to get non-city buffs on
Yeah, and
these tough
non-coin. I mean,
tracks.
3 of those 4 are non-coin box tracks. Just taking a bird's eye view of it, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah, good. The other one I'll notice that got pretty decent buffs was Charging Chuck. He's got the Rock Mountain R though, which is bad for him. The R is the one of the harder ones to get. I don't think there was any top skill on that track, right?
Well, no. I mean, Chuck's buffs are deceptive because he got 3, but the 2 of them are coin box tracks now because Rock
Oh,
Mountain R got Meowser,
yep.
and RMX Mario Circuit 1R has also got, I think, Tuxedo on it. And then the other one is Boomerang Driver. Calamari Desert 2 RT's got Yoshi Kangaroo on it. So all 3 of his buffs, there's an available better skill. So that's not looking so good for Charge and Chuck.
Yeah, not a great start there. And you and I we'll just kind of talk about each line as we get here. Meowser, on the other hand, well, I feel like he walks away the winner on this whole entire page. Um,
Absolutely. It's really shaking up. You'll see later in the rankings, it really messes up the coin box overlap because he's got 2 tracks that previously had no plus skills on them at all, unless you count supers, because Donkey Kong had Giant Banana on our government. But yeah, those are massive buffs for me. He now has the most exclusives of any coin box driver in the game, and he's still just seen like a little bit more than half the non-city tracks. It's insane.
that is insane. What's also insane is the number of total tracks that Peach Explorer has. She's got 35 tracks into left. How crazy is that?
I mean, the
Um,
next best driver has 25, and it's like, and they gave her 2 buffs, like
two,
like,
yeah.
I don't know why.
And
Why?
these are tough tracks too. These Sky
I
Gardens.
know. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
I don't know. I had her at level 5, and I'm using her on these Sky Garden tracks for all kind of ranking
Yeah.
and ranked. Yeah, crazy there. The other decent coverage there is Tanooki Rosalina. She's got 28 total tracks with only 3 cities. So you'll
Yep.
already see here she's number 2 on our list.
Number 2, and she's the one she's number 2 in non-city tracks after Peach Explorer. So that's the gap.
Yep. And we called it. When we saw this pipe, we're like, Tanuki. It wasn't just me. The whole community was like, yeah, Tanuki's going to be better than Mario.
Sure.
Rosalina's going to be better than Mario there, and it's crazy how much he's climbed. What's surprising when it talks about the climbing though, Waluigi Vampire. He now has 24 non-city tracks, 25 cities to number 3 on our list. He's relatively new, but he's already up to 29 total tracks. That's pretty crazy. But I think Bob-omb Cannon, man, we can always expect these Bob-omb Cannon drivers to have great coverage. We know the skill
Yep.
is less than mediocre, but you can't deny that. Anytime you have coverage, these are going to be some good drivers for maybe free to play or some of the anti-meta players to go after because that's some really strong coverage.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing more to add there.
The other two I'll point out on this list is Mario Salaview.
Yes.
He got a nice buff. He is so useful. I absolutely love him. He's got 20 total tracks, 1 city though. He's number 10 on our list, so he breaks that top 10. And then Yoshi Kangaroo. He is our number 1 driver in the game. 23 non-city tracks, 12 cities for a total of 35 tracks. Angela, between those two drivers, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Kangaroo, nothing more needs to be said. He is hot right now. He is peaking.
Smoking hot.
He is everywhere. Satellaview is by far the best Lucky 7 driver in the game. He's at 20 non-city tracks. 12 of those non-city tracks are non-coin box tracks. And in addition, he also is the only other plus skill driver on DK Pass R, which is the infamous Party Time Pauline exclusive. So you can almost consider that, because people don't have her invested. If you take like that, he's got 13 out of his 20 tracks are non-coin box tracks. He has incredible value. I do not double cap Lucky 7 drivers. I double capped Stellaview. And two last things. Party Time Lock 2 got his first buff since the Kamek tour. So it's been ages. And Kat Rosalina, she's been a bit of a disappointment. She got 1 buff only, and it's a track with 3 top shelf coin box drivers, Yoshi Circuit RT.
Well, I think that they realized that they can't give every Rosalina a good coverage. So they had to
Yeah.
dog one of them. It happens to be the cat.
Yeah.
See what I did there. All right, so we got cars that got buffed. We'll try to move through these pretty quickly. Combo Cruiser up to 9 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Cupid Arrows, obviously these two new ones. A lot of new ones up here,
Yeah.
along with the Wild Slugger being new from last tour. Then you have the Green Lightning, obviously was new as last tour as well, but probably one that you may not have. And then Jukebox Buggy and the Roaring Racer, two that came from Singapore. All kind of in the low teens to high single digits there. Obviously, all of them have 3 or plus cities, except for the Cupid's Arrow only has 2, just because it came out in the city tour, and obviously Roaring Racer and Jukebox coming out in a Singapore tour. As for the other items, they got 2 buffs. Nothing crazy here. I think the Carp Cart was interesting to see get a nice buff, but certainly nothing you're taking that information and doing too much with. Your Tiger Bruiser got 2 buffs. That's really nice there. It's got 13 on-city tracks, 2 cities. And then moving into the carts that got 1 buff. You got the Cactar, a now our number 1 cart in the game. I know you're probably surprised. We'll get into that in the top 10. But it's got 22 non-city tracks, 3 cities. Kind of call it the meta trifecta light. It's good overall coverage, and obviously it's pretty self-explanatory with the number 1 spot in the game right there. Frostwing got a nice buff. It's a little lagging behind. I'm a little concerned. I'd have it at level 7 right now. Hoping it gets a little bit more, but it's like tied with the Frosty Bells, and the Frosty Bells is not a card that a lot of people have at a high level. We'll say the Purple Bunny has come in clutch. I know you and I are both big fans of the Purple Bunny. 22 non-city tracks, 5 cities. And then the Tanooki Cart, up to 23 non-city tracks, 0 cities for your Tanooki Cart. And then the Vampire Flyer. Absolutely the Vampire Flyer. I am not concerned at all with how many total tracks it has. Every single track it seems to be getting has been extremely valuable. And same with the Yellow Off-Roader. Big 0 there for the Yellow Off-Roader and number of city tracks. So I'd say those bottom 3 are probably the hottest carts in the game right now. It's really hard to argue that, along with Cactar being right up there too with them. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. A couple of notes I have here. The Combo Cruiser got 3 buffs. None of them are coin box tracks, so that's kind of like a bit of a waste of its hitbox. Cupid's Arrow, really strong start. 7 of 9 non-cities are 200 plus action count tracks from the target, so that's actually something where the hitbox does make a big difference. Purple Bunny, the first buff since the Kamek Tour. That Purple Bunny has 6 overlaps with Tanooki cards, so that being said, it's a small hitbox and Tanooki is big, so I still felt okay going for the Tanooki. Yellow Off-Roader got 1 buff, RMX Mario Circuit 1, but it's not a coin box track, so again, not really utilizing the hitbox there. The Green B-Dasher Mark II, that is now the best B-Dasher Mark II alt in terms of coverage. It has 15. What I think is weird is this tour is the Sky Tour, but the Sky Blue B-Dasher Mark II didn't get a single buff, which I was a bit disappointed with. Sky Garden T has a really, really tough shell on the card, so it might be worth going into the second week pipe for a Broom or something to try to cover that. Other than that, nothing really to add.
The one thing I will add is that color combinations. I don't know why I'm really obsessed with color combos, and most of them are have to associate with sports teams, like which ones remind me of certain sports teams. The Tanooki card, I did not know I was going to like this kind of funky orange with this bluish purple. I love it though. I absolutely love it. Call me weird, but I absolutely love that color combo. All right, moving into gliders, because I don't have enough time to be talking about color combos, but here we are having fun with it. Wario's mustache got 3 buffs. So it's a 10 non-city tracks, 2 cities there. With the Waluigi's mustache getting 1 less buff, so it is at 9 and 2 there. Kind of glide through the Glinting Parasol up to 12 non-city tracks, 3 cities. It's one that I think we are keeping an eye on as a potential late bloomer. I wouldn't say it's lagging behind by any means, but it's also not taking over. I think we would have liked to have seen it gotten more buffs in this tour, to be honest with you. And then moving into the gliders that got 1 buff, I see a lot of 8-bit items there with 8-bit Bullet Bill and the Super Mushroom, obviously for good reason in that they're in this pipe and they wanted to make it a little bit more attractive for us. The Galaxy Glider, man, I wish that one was going a little bit faster in some of its buffs, but it's kind of similar to Frostwing. You know, I always feel like these new items coming out of a special pipe are guaranteed lock top 10s, but these ones are giving me a little bit of heartache. They're taking a little bit longer to get there. I still think that they one or both of them will get there. I love the look of both of them. I just want them to get there as bad as possible. Mm-hmm. And then Glinting Glider, 21 non-city tracks, 9 cities, number 9 on our list. It's one that I knew you're pretty heavy on. Nice to see it there. And then a couple gliders that are relatively new, but continue to get these buffs. First off, these 2 coin gliders, the gold penguin wingtip and the gold toe beam balloons, both get some buffs there. And then Magic Parasol, number 5 on our list, 20 non-city tracks, 6 cities. What are your thoughts on the gliders that get buffed?
Yeah, I think so. The big winners here are for sure the 8-bit items and the Glinting glider. These are already like top of the line gliders, and they all got like a really solid buff. So they get really buffed. The thing in the standings, Luigi Parafoil got 2 Luigi's Mansion. I guess that's about as expected as you can, as well as the Aurora Balloons, who got 2 of the Sky Gardens. So that is both of those very thematic. In Sky Gardens T, every top shelf glider is originally banner only, and I think only the Magic Parasol has been in a pipe since then. So that is like one of the roughest top shelves I've ever seen, and that is part of the reason I went into the glider pipe, the 8-bit glider pipe, because it is. I feel like most people won't have a top shelf glider there. Yeah, other than that, not too much. While Luigi's Mustache got Luigi's Mansion and T, if you don't have Dream Glider, those have pretty crappy top shelves, a lot of supers and stuff. So that's a nice one for Waluigi's Mustache. Not too much else to add. Gold Toe Beans Blues, what a disappointment! Oh my god, so many people went in for that one, and it's only got 11 non-cities.
Still got some time. But it's definitely alarming. It looks really cool. I love the look of it. But man, yeah, I'm with you. It's worth getting some heartache if you invest in it early on. All right, guys. Top 10. We won't spend too much time, but I will say that now, thanks to the Elarak and adding in information, the hitboxes are back. So we'll get into that in a second. But first to the drivers. So, Yoshi Kaguru, as we've already alluded to, still the number 1 driver in the game. Absolutely love that. He's got an awesome skill. He's so fun to use. No surprise there. Tanooki Rosalina up 2 spots to number 2 on our list. And as we alluded to earlier, Waluigi Vampire up 4 spots to number 3. And Builder Toadette up 1 spot, all because Kamek dropped 3 spots. Now, is Kamek an awesome driver worth double, even triple capping? Absolutely. An awesome, and obviously he's the number 1 coin box driver in the game at this point. I think Meowser's going to be slowly getting to that number 1 spot. It may not even be slowly at this point because he is already creeping up. But Kamek's still there at number 5. And then we have Penguin Mario holding down number 6. Peach Explorer, thanks to those Sky Gardens, up 3 spots to number 7. Peach Happy, unfortunately, fell the most this tour, down 5 spots to number 8. Not a driver I would highly recommend investing in necessarily, just because she has lost a lot of tracks, especially here recently. She obviously had one of the hottest starts. It just happens to be a lot of her tracks that she got at the very beginning have been fallen to slightly better drivers or coin box drivers, etc. Birdo Black down 1 to number 9, and then Mario Saddle of You up 1 to number 10. And then as we round out the top 15, we got Dry Bones Gold at number 11, Donkey Kong Jr. SNES, number 12, our comeback king of last year, and then the King Bob-omb Gold at 13, and then Baby Mario Koala at 14, and Mario Tuxedo at 15. And so what are your thoughts on the top 10?
Yeah, I mean the 2, 3, 4 drivers basically they got buffs and they got it ranked. I don't think one thing that's important is that all in the way the rankings work, all of the non top 4 skills, so anything that's not coin box, giant banana, lucky 7, or boomerang, they're all rated the same. So if you think triple mushrooms or dash ring or triple bananas or whatever are a better skill, it's not reflected at all in the rankings. Every item which is not a top 4 gets rated the same. So it really goes more on coverage at that point. Other than that, yeah, not too. I mean, you can see Peach Explorer. That's like going to be pretty much her ceiling, even though she's got this ridiculous amount of tracks because of her skill and that she's not ranked that much. She's not going to be that high. Stellaview, yeah, he finally broke the top 10, which I think is well deserved. He's finally getting it ranked more. He's our number 6 in ranked appearances right now. And one that's not on here, Ninja Shy, I got to give a shout out to. He finally fell out of the top 15. He's number 16. He fell down from 49th to 77th in ranked appearances. He just does not get it ranked anymore.
Yeah, what's up with that man? I don't understand.
Still
that.
an ACR champion, so I don't care.
Yeah, he's still good in ACR, that is for sure. For carts, as we alluded to, Cactar went up 1 spot. The hitbox of these have been fixed thanks to Ilarak, so thank you so much. Silver King down 1 spot to make room for Cactar. And again, Cactar is, I think, just overall amazing coverage. Now, I think some of his coverage has a lot of overlap with a lot of other great ones. So I think from that perspective, you just want to really, before you invest in Cactar, because the instinct would be like, knee-jerk reaction, invest in Cactar. This is the one card that I would highly recommend taking a look at Bam and Gerbs and seeing if it really does anything for you. Because I took a look at it, and it gave me 2 tracks. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. It's it has a lot of overlap with a lot of these top cards on here. So not that none of these don't have any other overlap with each other, but that's the one that has a lot. And so I'd really, really highly advise taking a look at the Bam and Gerbs for that specific card. Silver King, though, definitely worth investing in, no matter what account you have. I was fighting it for months and just took mine to 700 last tour just because it was so helpful, despite me fighting it. And the Vampire Flyer, I absolutely love the card. I think a lot of people are still having a hard time taking it up because it hasn't been in a special pipe, hasn't been in a pack, and so they had to put so many tickets to get it there. And now with level 8 on the rise, it's going to be really hard to take it even higher unless you already have it there, which I absolutely love it. I took it there, and it's been absolutely crushing every single time. And again, I know people are a little concerned it's only 18 non-city tracks, but it will get to 25. And I think really the way it'll get to 25 will be from new tracks, because that just seems to be how the way that they're buffing it going forward. And then Yellow Off-Roader, amazing card. Obviously, both of these 2 cards I just mentioned, the top hitbox in the game, tied for first. Amazing coverage there. Cheap Islands are all over it. I cannot say any more great things about really all 4 of these top cards. These are great cards to invest in, hands down. Quebec Zoom Broom, not as much, just mainly because it handles a little weird. Try it out if you like it. Go for it. In fact, go for the week 2 pipe. I'm not going to stay in your way for that. And then Tanooki Cart up 7 spots. Huge jump to number 6. That's why Antilev has already taken it to 7. I'm going to be taking a look at it myself. Who knows? I might have to fight myself and get another that 3rd pack of it because it does look awesome. And then we have the Gold Pumpkin Cart. Fell down the most on this entire sheet. Fell down 4 spots to number 7. Still an awesome cart when you're talking about total coverage, but it's got a really tiny hitbox. So it has to have everything else lined up for it to continue to stay on this list. Just because the hitboxes are a huge percentage here. And then Robbie Runner still holding on to a pretty good chunk of the top 10. It's great coverage. Down 1 spot though. Don't want to make anyone mad. So I'm just going to say it's still a top 10 card and probably will be for a little bit. And then we have the Black Cat Cruiser, number 9, a good filler for a lot of accounts. Not great hitbox, but still got really good coverage. And then Secure Quick Shot. Man, this one has been in the top 10 for an extremely long time, and it is back in the top 10 at number 10 exactly, up 1 spot from last tour. Then the Red Crawley Cart, the Rose Taxi, Black Turbo Birdo, Black Dozer, and Crawley Cart. Some former top 10s on the fringe, but all 15 of these, because carts there's so many, the top 15 is just such a small percent of carts. All 15 are great to invest in. I just would, again, highly recommend taking a look at the spreadsheets that are out there before you make investments in them, but they're all really, really, really great. And so what are your thoughts on the carts?
So the first thing I'll say is like there is a quirk with the rankings where the weighted course value takes the type of courses that get in ranked the most and weights based on those. And so in that sense, RTs are actually the most valuable type of course to have. Cactar has 10 RTs, so that's gives it the number 3 weighted course value. 8-bit Mushroom, you see, has kind of the same thing. The thing is, from an ACR perspective, RTs appear about a lot less often than an RNT track. So from an ACR perspective, they're not as valuable. So that weighted course value doesn't really make a lot of sense from an ACR. So then you want to look more at the raw coverage. But that's just giving you a reason why Cactar is number 1 this week. It's number 3 in weighted course coverage, 5 in raw coverage, and 6 in ranked appearances. Vampire Flyer is still around the 25, 27 region for coverage stats, but it's number 5 in ranked, and it's huge. Black Cat Cruiser's number 1 cart in ranked appearances. It's really small and its coverage isn't that great, but being in ranked a lot has helped stay in the top 10. Gold Pumpkin, I feel really bad for this cart. The reason it dropped 4 is because we reintroduced the exact sizing algorithm on the carts. It's number 2 in ranked appearances, number 2 in coverage, and number 1 in weighted coverage, and number 197th in size. Poor Gold Pumpkin. Tanooki Cart went up. Finally, it's getting in ranks. So more from 25th to 15th in ranks. So that's driving its rise. And it went from 21st to 9th in weighted course value. Red Crawley Cart, 80th in raw coverage, 107th in weighted coverage, but it's 12th in ranked, and it's very, very big, so that's why it kind of hangs on there. The Secure Quick Shot is in the top 10, regardless of it being 49th in ranked appearances, but it's 4th in raw coverage and 6th in weighted coverage. And then, the Prop Cart debuts at 29, which is crazy. And the last thing is that the carts 12 through 15, they're basically, there's nothing between them. They're all within 0.3 points in the ranking. So they're basically 12 to A, 12B, 12C, 12D. That's it.
Yeah, but I love the Black Turbo Birdo. I love the Black Dozer. I love the Crawley Cart. Those are all great cards. Yep. But they're, those are 2020 and 2021 cards. So
yes,
definitely there's a new era, new kittens on the block. Just based on time, we'll go through the gliders. Golden Wings up 2 spots to number 1 on our list. Fortunately, that knocks down Dream Glider and the Silver Surfmaster. And then the 8-bit Fire Flower. All 4 of these, kind of like we just talked about the carts, are absolute ballers right now. They're getting such good new coverage. And not that the Magic Parasol isn't. It went up 4 spots as well. I think when you're thinking about investing in gliders, these are really, really awesome gliders. And then we have the 8-bit Super Mushroom. It's got really good coverage from these last, I think, 3 or 4 tours. It's up 4 spots. It would do a lot for my account. I'm just not as bullish on this pipe. But Antelov, as just an example, went bonkers to try to get this glider. And then Springtime Crane down 1 spot to number 7. Ship's Wheel fell 3 spots to number 8. Glinting Glider up 5 spots to number 9. Rose Parasol back in the top 10 at number 10, up 7 spots. With Bullet Bill, Starry Great Sale, Black Great Sale, Yukata Ribbon, and Vampire Wings rounding out the top 15. What are your thoughts, Antelope?
Golden Wings and Dream Glider are really like 1A or 1B. There's not that much between them. I think it's like less than a quarter of a point in the scoring. So it's a little bit misleading. Take your pick. They're both awesome. Magic Parasol is up to 5th from 12th the week before and 19th the week before that in ranked appearances. It's just getting in ranked a lot. Has okay coverage as well. 8-bit Super Mushroom rose to 4th in weighted coverage. The same thing what I was talking before with Cactar. It has, I think, 9 or 10 RT, so that really helps it in the weighted course value. 8-bit Bullet Bill, 3rd in raw coverage, 5th in weighted coverage, not that great at ranked. The thing about Bullet Bill is it's got a lot of overlap with meta gliders like Dry Bowser Umbrella, Black Gray Sail, etc. So it doesn't fit into a lot of people's coverage, but it has good coverage stats objectively. 8-Bit Fireflower is still the number one glider in raw and weighted coverage. It's just 25th in ranked. It hasn't been ranked lately. But if you're building an ACR roster, it is the absolute best choice in my opinion. Glinting Glider rose 5 spots just because it got buffed a lot. Rose Parasol, I didn't even see why it got buffed for Rose 7 spots, so I'll have to get back to you on that one. And lastly, Pink Gold Meteor, that's only 36th in raw coverage and 65th in weighted coverage, but it's number 2 in ranked appearances, so that's why it is even on the board. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, as I said, we could talk about that here. These are the movers and shakers, some of the drivers that we want to kind of point out. Luigi Vacation, up 29 spots to number 41. It'll be interesting to see him try to battle it out with Kangaroo Yoshi, as they've already been doing on all these tracks here. Mario Golf, Catalina, both went up 17 and 14 respectively. Black Yoshi got a nice little boost. It's a little too late for him necessarily, but it's nice to see that. Nabbit went up 7 spots to number 38. Charging Chuck went up 7 spots to number 70. We'll see what happens with Chuck. So far, not so great. As for carts, the biggest jump was Cupid's Arrow to number 42. Roaring Racer up 40 spots to 48. I think overall, nothing too crazy. I would say Frostwing is now 22 on our list, up 27 spots. So anytime you get someone's cut in half, that's got to be nice there. Carrot Cart's got a nice, went up 22 spots to 63. I'm sure you were waiting for us to review that one, Antilev. And then gliders, we have the gold toe beam balloons. It did go up 14 spots. So not huge jumps for gliders compared to the carts. Huge movement in both the drivers and the carts. Not so much on the gliders. The biggest mover was up 14 spots for the gold toe beam balloons. Kind of skimming down. Not big. New Year's... Glinting Parasol, Cat Parafoil, nothing too crazy here. I will say that Aurora Balloons, as you were alluding to earlier, went up 8 spots, so it's number 17, just outside the top.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that was like...
They got some nice buffs, yeah.
I love the buffs there. And then the Rose Parasol, as we talked about, went up 7 spots, went from 17 to 10. So that was really, really nice. I love the Rose Parasol. I'm glad you talked me into it. But anything you want to talk about the movers and shakers?
No, I mean, I just looked it up. It looks like it just went up because the ones around it kind of went down from dropping in like ranked or whatever. So that's just a kind of weird quirk. Frostwing and Aurora Balloons both jumped because of buffs. Frostwing is kind of running out of tracks though. That was the Penguin Tour, right? They have that's hard. They're not running out of tracks. 67 tracks left to see for those Frost Tour, the Penguin Tour, sorry. Items. And Nabbit went up 10 spots, and he didn't get a buff. It was weird, but there's a weird thing that happened because Meowser got 2 previously non-Coinbox tracks, so that really shook up the Coinbox overlap rankings. So Nabbit jumped 10 spots due to improving in his Coinbox overlap relative to a lot of other drivers who fell down. Some fallers that are not on here. Starry Great Cell fell from 7th to 14th. Okay. It's just a question of other things getting buffed. There were a lot of buffs this tour. 101 valuable non-city buffs that happened. There's more than triple what we had last tour. Pinch Hitter fell from 24th to 56th. It just got worse in everything. Yeah. And Painter Luigi fell from 12th to 20th, so he's out of the top 15. And he's a victim of that Coinbox overlap that I was talking about before. Everything else from him was pretty much stable.
Yeah, I think the big part with that is that if you look at these coverages for the Sky Garden, it's rough. Like, we don't have a lot of top skill drivers. We don't have a lot of top gliders. Like, they're really paywalled, really hard, and we've seen that many, many times. But usually they give us something. Usually they give us like one item that's like a top 10 item or something like that, but not here. It's rough. It is not great coverage. So to your point, buffing all these things were not top 10. It kind of makes everything on the top 10 get a little bit more depleted there. Just to move forward, Antilev, All Cup ranking MVPs. Take a look at this if you up on Reddit, but you can take a snapshot here. But based on time, we're going to move through this pretty quickly. And then moving through ranked tracks. So A lot of stuff for Yoshi Circuit. You're probably not too worried about that. Some good coverage. Most likely you're using Pink Gold Peach, but there's Peach Vacation there as well, and some other drivers. Probably going to skim through that. As for next week, we got some interesting stuff going on. Rock Mountain T, but most likely you have that track covered. I think the one to be aware of is Remix Ghost Valley 1RT. You have Mario Aviator at 6, Cactar at level 6, 8-Bit Super Mushroom, your glider there, level 6, and then the Warrior's Mustache at level 6. And then finally, when it comes to multiple use and ranked items, we actually can use Mario Aviator 4 times based on that one unlocked level 6 I just mentioned, the Ghost Valley. But then you got Tanooki Mario, Tanooki Rosalina, Cat Rosalina, Red Yoshi, Kamek. Red Yoshi, that's interesting. Kamek, Kangaroo Yoshi, and Builder Toadette. All you can use twice. Nothing unlocked. So pretty straightforward there. Kamek is going to be one that many of us are going to be using with Yoshi Kangaroo right there next to it. Mainly starting out with that Calamari Desert. As for the carts, we got the prop cart, level 3 times used, triple feature there. Star Broom as well, but you do have 2 unlocked for the Star Broom. So you might not have the Star Broom at level 6 to be able to use it 2 additional times, but it's good to know that there. And then, as you mentioned, the Sky Blue Beat Asher Mark II did not get any buffs, but it is in ranked twice. So that part, at least they threw you a bone there. Clackety Cart, Tanooki Cart, both used 2 times with nothing unlocked. And then the Cactar, you have that 1 level 6 unlocked. So be aware of that, especially for those Cactar fans. And then gliders. You have Magic Parasol and the Wonderful Wings and the Super Mushroom, the 8-bit version, all with 3 tracks, except for the Wonderful Wings has something unlocked at level 3, and the Super Mushroom, two that are unlocked at level 6. So if you took yours to level 6, Antilev, you are love and ranked this week. Records,
and I am.
And you are. Congratulations. We got Record Setter, the Sky High Flyer, and the Bright Glider, and the Dragon Wings, all with 2. It's interesting to see Dragon Wings on there. It's been a while since you've seen that. But Record Setter, if you already pulled that a lot, you are loving that as well. So there you go, guys. And I have to end this by saying a huge, massive happy birthday to Sammy D. We absolutely love Sammy here on the Studfit channel. He really has done so much to help our channel grow. It's been so awesome seeing his live stream earlier today, and we just want to send out a huge thank you, a special happy birthday to Sammy D and everything he's done for this community and this channel specifically. And with that, if you don't mind just taking a second just to push that like button, subscribe. This is obviously coming out on a Monday. It's really strange, so set the notification bell. That way you do know when it does come out, because we don't always have these videos at the same time every week. This one being a great example. But we'd love to have you take a look at that. And then also memberships. We've been doing contests. We've been seeing our memberships grow, and so it's been so fun to see new people join the channel. And it's been exciting as we go into this this year where we have a lot going on. Again, I highly recommend. My one recommendation I would highly, strongly suggest you doing is just take a breather, remember why you enjoy the game, and plan accordingly for this upcoming year, and do not care at all about what anyone else is doing. Play this game the way you want to play it, and have fun how you want to. Don't compare yourself to others. That's my number one advice for going into level 8. Anything you'd like to say, Antilev, about level 8, or any other recommendations for people going into next door?
No, I think covered it. I mean, and if you need to take a break and come back in a little bit, let's do it. But just let's wait and see what happens, and then we can react then. Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily tell everyone you're leaving or anything too crazy. Just take a breather. Maybe even take a day or two to a break or whatever you might do. But we'd love for you to be a part of this next chapter of the game, and we're always going to be here to be positive and to focus on strategy and what are some ways you can be able to kind of punch above your weight class. So thank you so much. We'll see you on Kart Talk later this week, and prepare for level getting again. See you guys.